Today I'd like to tell you guys a little bit about OpenVPN, what it is, how it works, some of the things that you can do with it, and a little bit about how to set it up. Although I'm not going to get into that on a step-by-step level because it just takes too long to thoroughly address all the ways to set it up. Although I have a link to a nice tutorial, it's on Scribed over here. Just check the show notes over there. Um, so OpenVPN is a technology that allows you to create a secure tunnel from one location on the public internet to another location. I specifically use it to access my file server at home. That way I don't have to port forward at all, so I'm not exposing my server to any vulnerabilities. And it also allows me to get in, if need be, and troubleshoot my parents' computer remotely using VNC without having to port forward VNC to their computer and potentially expose it to security risks. So it's a really nice way to access your network resources at home without having to poke holes through your firewall and create forwarding rules and that sort of thing. Um, so let's take a look at my network setup. I created a little Visio diagram that should be on your screen right now. As you can see, I've got the public internet out there, and that's coming directly into um, pfSense. pfSense is a FreeBSD based firewall distribution. I've got it installed on a, gosh, probably a 10 to 12-year-old machine. It's a Pentium 2, but it'll run on just about anything. It'll run on a 386, um, and it's acting as my border firewall. And the reason I did this is because it has OpenVPN server built right into it. So I didn't have to worry about having a separate machine on the network and port forwarding the ports for OpenVPN to that machine and then connecting from there and using that to bounce to other machines. Because that's one of the problems I had. I used to use Hamachi, and I had to have that installed on a specific machine on my network. I had to connect to that machine at home first and go through my firewall, and then from that machine I could connect to other machines. Having OpenVPN on pfSense allows me to route into my local area network. So when I actually connect my OpenVPN, I have an IP address assigned on a 192.168.20. Um, I think it's actually a slash 28. Yeah, a slash 28. So I get a 192.168.20 dot something address, and then my local area network is 192.168.10 dot whatever. So I can route into that network, which is nice because even if there aren't any computers turned on, um, I can I can still connect, with the obvious exception of pfSense. But if there aren't any machines on my local area network that are turned on, I can still connect. And pfSense has some nice little wake on LAN features, so if I need to turn a box on, I can pretty much do that, um, which is very nice. So another benefit of OpenVPN is that it's an SSL VPN. Um, I don't know how many people have tried Hamachi on campus. I had a lot of issues with it. It was very flaky. When I could get it to connect, most of the time it would relay, which means that it had to bounce traffic through Hamachi servers, and then Hamachi servers would forward that to my home Hamachi station. That was a problem because in the free version of Hamachi you're limited as far as how much bandwidth you can get. So that's an issue, and it was slow as Christmas. So that's why I looked into OpenVPN. Like I said, it's SSL, so most packet shapers, most firewalls will look at that traffic and they'll see that you're connecting to a secure website. They don't see it as, oh, that's VPN traffic, drop it. They see it's secure web traffic, and most packet shapers and firewalls are configured to let that through. And I went ahead, at home, I set up so that OpenVPN listens on port 443. Port 443 is the port for secure HTTP. So any kind of firewall that's looking at this is going to think that it's secure web traffic going somewhere. and it's pretty much going to let it through all the time. I've tested it in numerous locations behind numerous firewalls, and it's pretty much always connected. And it's just gone right through, and it's quick to connect too. It doesn't take a long time. That's another problem with VPNs that use technologies like IPsec. That's one that has a lot of problems going behind certain firewalls, and it slows Christmas to connect it. But OpenVPN just connects right through, so it's really nice in that respect. And I can get right into any of my local area network services. Now, as far as setting it up, like I said, there's a great tutorial. I'm going to have it posted as a link. It may show up down here on the bottom of the screen if I have enough time to edit that in. Um, but some pointers, you're going to need to go to openvpn.net and download the free version of OpenVPN server onto a computer and install it. Make sure to install the easy RSA scripts, because that's what generates your certificates and your keys, your pre-shared key, all that stuff. It's all generated with easy RSA, and that's pretty much the easiest way to do it. If you've got a Windows server and you're very familiar with certificate services, and you have that set up on there, that's another option. But I just went with the easy RSA stuff because it's the easiest way to do it, and it's literally just step by step. Just enter this command, enter this command, enter this command, and you end up with a folder with all your keys in it for the server, as well as however many client key pairs you generate. So make sure you install that, and also make sure there's an option when you install OpenVPN server. Like, you don't have to install the rest of it; just install the easy RSA scripts, and also make sure that you there's a checkbox to set a path variable to OpenVPN. Also check that, because if you don't, you're going to have problems generating your certificates. Some of the scripts aren't going to run properly. So that's pretty much it to installing it. As far as pfSense goes, it's already got OpenVPN server loaded. You basically just have to turn it on and create a new VPN tunnel, and it's going to tell you, copy and paste your CA certificate into this box, copy and paste your server certificate into this box, copy and paste your key into this box, and it's pretty much a step-by-step thing, and it's all in that tutorial, so I'm not really going to go over that too much. Then you have to go to the client side and install the OpenVPN client and build a configuration file, but the tutorial covers everything. So that's pretty much it, and then you just take it out into the world and connect to a network and dial the VPN, and it should pretty much just go right through and connect. So as far as what you can do with it then, at this point your options are pretty much limitless, or rather limited by your bandwidth, as far as what you can do, because you basically, at this point, if you set up pfSense and you set up OpenVPN correctly, you basically have routed access into your local area network from anywhere in the world, anywhere you have an internet connection. So if you want to set up, for example, something that I installed, I put Subversion on a box at home, and that allows me to dial my laptop to the VPN, to dial my netbook to the VPN, and to dial my desktop machine in my dorm room to the VPN, and then I can synchronize Subversion across the VPN. Um, Subversion is a versioning control system. I got to the point where I have a desktop, I have a laptop, I have a netbook, and I have a flash drive. All those had a school folder on them. All those had different versions of different files. Some of them had the same versions of the same files. Some of them had, I mean, it was an absolute mess. So I finally got it sorted out. I got a folder made with the latest version of everything in it. I put that on the Subversion server and synchronized it out to everything else. So that's one example. So that's pretty much it. I recommend that you definitely check it out, especially if you're using something like Hamachi or LogMeIn right now, because um, they're just, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as my experience with them goes, they're notorious for not working. So OpenVPN was a great solution for me. I definitely recommend you try it. Thanks.